tweeted that it did not affect the election. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
A Florida man arrested for threatening members of Congress.
Tuesday morning, according to federal prosecutors in Florida, John Kless made a series of phone calls to the offices of Senator Cory Booker, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, and Congressman Eric Swalwell, and threatened to kill them. The calls began at 7 a.m. when Kless allegedly left a voicemail for Swalwell that said, omitting the curse words, "The day you come after our guns is the day you'll be dead." 9 minutes later, a message for Tlaib said, "Tell your Taliban friend to shut up about 9/11. This ain't Trump's fault. It's your people's fault." Kless is charged with interstate transmission of threats. Aaron Katersky, ABC News.
It's 25 years to life for Louise and David Turpin, the California parents who pleaded guilty to imprisoning and beating their 13 children. Judge Bernard Schwartz addressing the couple before handing down the sentence.
To the extent that they do thrive, and it appears from today that perhaps a couple of them are, it will be not because of you both, but in spite of you both.
Both Louis and David Turpin will be eligible for parole in about 22 years. A French art conservationist says that works inside Notre Dame in Paris suffered no major damage from the fire in the cathedral. You're listening to ABC News.
There's nothing like meeting face-to-face, and there's nothing like Zoom to make that happen. Zoom lets you connect and do business across town or around the world. Zoom ties together all of your communication needs into one easy platform for video conferencing, phone calls, group chat, webinars, and your conference rooms. Connect easily from anywhere, your mobile phone, your laptop, or conference room. Zoom is how business gets done. Get your free account at Zoom.com today. Meet happy with Zoom.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Available on Amazon.
The FBI joins the search for a missing 5-year-old boy in Illinois.
Crystal Lake police say a canine team searching for 5-year-old Andrew A.J. Friend only picked up Andrew's scent inside of the residence, indicating the boy did not walk away on foot. Police say to this point they've searched more than 370 acres of the neighborhood on foot, nearly 500 acres by drones. Sonar teams have been scanning the waters of Crystal Lake but have found nothing. More than 15 police agencies are responding in this search, including the FBI. They say the department has no reason to believe an abduction took place. Ryan Burrow, ABC News, Chicago.
On this day in 1993, the nation's attention was fixed on a 77-acre patch of property east of Waco, Texas. ABC's Jim Ryan was there as nearly 100 people died in the fire that destroyed a religious compound.
The debate still rages on conspiracy-related websites. Did the Branch Davidians die at the hands of FBI agents using tanks to inject tear gas into their building? Or was it mass suicide by self-immolation? Today, a tiny chapel and a monument dedicated to the people who died stand on the spot where the Branch Davidian compound used to be.
ABC's Jim Ryan. Christians around the world marking Good Friday, commemorating the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. It is the most solemn day in the Christian calendar. This year marks the 7th season for Pope Francis as leader of the Roman Catholic Church. This is ABC News.
At CDW, we get that working from the road can be difficult and lonely.
I know. I just had a long conversation at the toll booth.
So?
It was unmanned.
Well, at least you can connect and be productive with a secure Dell Latitude 2-in-1 laptop. They're reliable with all-day battery life and part of a business-class mobility solution implemented by CDW.
Wait, don't go.
IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Dell.
Chuck Severson, ABC News.
From the KMET Weather Center for Beaumont and the Pass area. Today, lots of sunshine, high of 86. Tonight, clear with a low of 49. Tomorrow, sunny and 71. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy and 44. Sunday, partly cloudy and 64. For the Inland Empire, today, sunny with a high of 89. And for Palm Springs, sunny and 95. I'm Rich Summers for Smart Talk, 1490 KMET.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
I enjoy the music, so I let it go a little bit there. Do I enjoy it as much as listening to myself? I don't think. Well, of course I do. Anyway, good afternoon, and welcome to the Educated Retirement here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement, how to prepare for retirement, and where we remind us all that I'm not yet retired, so I need you to be a part of the discussion, okay? So we're here to talk about the tools and other retirement items, that make retirement better, easier, more productive. So write this number down. I know you already have it, but write it down again, or put it on your smartphone. Excuse me, 951-922-3532. That's 951-922-3532. And remember to keep that tab open on your browser, www.kmet1490am.com and theeducatedretirementradio.com, for more of these questions and answers and almost daily blogs, if not multiple daily blogs. So let's, as I'm looking around for a button to push for something else, buttons are always running away from me. So excuse me while I reach over and press a button. Okay, it's almost Easter Sunday. That's tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll be here tomorrow. So whether you are celebrating Sunday, Passover, or one of the other, there's a lot of holidays that are around this time of year. Why? Because it's the beginning of spring. So let's celebrate anything, including just being alive. Now let's move up to today, and today is National Garlic Day. That's right, you've been waiting for it. It's here. The day that we are supposed to try ice cream garlic and garlic almonds, or as that friend of mine, Dennis, would say, since he's from the Central Valley here in California, almonds. And those special treats, garlic lollipops. Garlic is good for, and this is, of course, we talk about what's good for us older people, what you want to get healthy as you get older. So garlic is good for reducing blood pressure, lowering cholesterol. It improves circulation, and with me, there's a lot to circulate, eases heartburn, and in my case, I'm told it even improves my breath. But, I love to do garlic, like just cook it in olive oil. Just put the whole cloves in, put it in the oven. I've tried on the stovetop, but they get burned too much. And boy, they are sweet and they are wonderful. And where does this garlic come from other than my refrigerator? China supplies 2/3 of the world's garlic. That is 46 billion pounds a year. Billion pounds a year. What happened to Gilroy? I guess there's still a Gilroy Garlic Festival, but so be it. Oh, speaking of special days, remember last week we talked about Record Store being on that Saturday. Well, let me show you what I got. What did you get on Record Store Day? There was a bunch I was looking for, but they were sold out because I had an appointment in the morning. But let me show you. This is, what is this? Cecil Taylor, and it's called the Great Paris Concert. 2 records. They're both Snow White, just like me, and that's that. Now, while I was at the record store, I did find this. And this next one here is a real find, a real treasure. Now, you want to ask, have I listened to it? No. There are some things in life, and I think you understand it, that you just don't want to know about. This may very well be one of those. In any case, it's also National North Dakota Day. That's right, North Dakota Day. North Dakota Badlands National Park. Good movie, Badlands. Anyway, that's Terrence Malick, I think. We could talk about him in another whole show. And there's a place called the Enchanted Highway, which is 32 miles of scrap metal sculptures. I took a look at some pictures, and it looks really great. Who comes from North Dakota? Well, Lawrence Welk. Lawrence Welk comes from North Dakota. And Peggy Lee. So 2 big-time music people. I happen to enjoy Peggy Lee a little more, but everybody's got their own tastes. And so did Kenneth Arnold. Now, we're not going to do our whole show on Kenneth Arnold and the history of UFOs. But if you're into UFOs or even have read about them at all, you know that name. So, as my old friend Ron Siegel says, and I was on his show on ESPN yesterday, and what he always says is that you need a household board of directors. And we are going to, who's going to be on that household board of directors? An attorney or 2, because they are specialized. Your doctor, sometimes you need 2 or 3 because they too are very specialized. And I don't mean the emergency type, I mean others. Financial planners, tax experts, realtors, and mortgage experts, because some of them are specialized. For instance, I only do the HECM or the reverse mortgage because it's the best loan ever invented. And keep those numbers handy for a referral. At the same time, don't forget your emergency numbers. I should do a board of directors magnet for the refrigerator with those names on them. I'll see about that. But I do have a day job. Don't forget my day job. And I work at the Lone Source. And the Lone Source, I have my NMLS, which is basically my lender's license, is 384465. 384465, Department of Real Estate. Although I do not sell real estate, I know a lot about that subject, but it helps me with everything else. 792-630, 792-630. So remember, on this show, in our lives, we want to challenge the status quo. We want families and people to be active, not reactive. And we do this to expand our networks and our friends. We need to be prepared, all of us, young, old. Boy Scouts teach you that, even if you weren't a Boy Scout or a Girl Scouts. You need to be prepared. And that doesn't mean just think about nothing but the future or all the what-ifs, because that can go on forever. But let me just throw out that if there were, and this is to some of us older people that have equity in homes, If you ain't an older people with equity in your homes or you don't have a home, that's okay. Most of it still applies. Specifics about a reverse mortgage may not, but could in the future, and for your friends. And if you want to help bring up your parents, you might want to turn them on to these things. But if there were a proven resource that allows for you to create cash flow, preserve assets, reduce risks, and add new monthly money. Okay, that works into savings. Wouldn't you want to know more about that? If there were a way to continue making mortgage payments monthly, and when you make a mortgage payment, whether it's a reverse mortgage or not, you're paying down your balance, okay? Of course, you know that a reverse mortgage you just pay like any other loan. It just gives you a chance not to when you don't want to. Anyway, every time, though, you make a payment on a reverse mortgage, that payment is, of course, lowering your balance. But every penny of that payment, every penny, whether that's interest or principal, adds to your growing line of credit. And that line of credit grows fast. It's always available for you, always there for you. So you make a payment, you haven't let go of that money like you have on a regular loan. It's there for you if and when you need it. And let's face it, if you're going to make money and payments, if you're going to make payments on your loan, your reverse mortgage loan, and remember that they are framed within interest rates because that it actually will protect you against rising interest rates. But if interest rates go up, your line of credit increase is attached to that. So if you make your monthly payments for a time, and during that time, interest rates go up as high as they can, you just won the lottery. So let's talk about it. And give me a call, 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532. And if you're shy like I am, and you can see that, my off-air contact information is on my site, theeducatedretirementradio.com, theeducatedretirementradio.com, or email me at bestloantoday@gmail.com, bestloantoday@gmail.com. And we can communicate by email, phone, or whatever you like. After you get to know me, I'd like to meet you in person. For instance, like yesterday, I went to Culver City. It was a pretty good drive for me, especially coming back, but so be it. Anyway, the husband had been a cameraman for the movie industry, and she's still an editor in the movie industry. So we talked about an hour and a half about movies, music, history, and then, of course, had to reschedule another appointment for me to come back and talk about reverse mortgages. But you know what? That's just fine. So what is a reverse mortgage? A reverse mortgage is simply nothing more than a mortgage. So don't be afeared of what is only a mortgage, except it has a lot more benefit than any old-fashioned mortgage does. And I'm going to start to break it off here because we already have come to our first break. Again, 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532. Take care of yourself and stay right where you are. Talk to you soon.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
After the game, after school, after work, Applebee's is where you want to be to enjoy their bold, savory grilled steaks, salmon, or chicken. Applebee's is located where Beaumont meets Banning, just off 6th Street near Highland Springs Avenue. Applebee's started with the same philosophy they follow today. Focus on serving good food to good people in a neighborhood-style setting. Applebee's also offers Carside to Go when you order online. Applebee's in Beaumont, serving the Pass area. So fresh, so fast, make it Applebee's tonight.
You're out of letterhead. What do? Lithopass Printing. You need business cards? Now what? Lithopass Printing. Invitations to a wedding? Lithopass Printing in Banning and Yucaipa is the answer. Lithopass Printing can provide banners, signs, and blueprints. Think of Lithopass Printing in Banning and Yucaipa for quality graduation, birthday party, and baby shower invitation. Lithopass Printing also provides lamination, faxing, and photo prints. If you need it inked, make it Lithopass Printing in Banning and Yucaipa. Lithopass Printing.
Top Line Industrial Supply, your destination for industrial tools and supplies. We make hoses while you wait, hydraulic, air, water, and custom brake lines. Take advantage of our large selection of fasteners from grade 5 to grade F911 and a full line of stainless steel. Cost outside shop service keeps you stocked at no extra charge. Come by one of our 2 convenient locations in Beaumont and Temecula and visit top-lineindustrial.com. At Top Line Industrial, we don't just sell products, we sell solutions.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
You know, that reminds me, you can listen to this show anytime you want. But I know that you're all listening the first time, but still some of you may be so blown away that you want to watch it or listen to it a second time. So go to my website or to the website of this station. Front page of my website has a, link right to my spot on the station's website, and then you can hear everybody else's and watch them also there. But welcome back to the Educated Retirement here on KMET 1490. And we are still using the same phone number, 951-922-3532. And we will get into some famous people's birthdays. It is Tim Curry's birthday. When? Today, in the same year that I was born. And he and I are both still here. And Tim Curry, you probably, well, for me, I have very limited knowledge of him because he did do a lot of stage work, but Rocky Horror Picture Show was his first film and probably the one we all know of, most of all, where he played Dr. Frank N. Furter. And which reminds me, we had some bacon-wrapped ones last night, and they were good. So he played Dr. Frank N. Furter, was an alien transvestite scientist. And what I thought was interesting was a lot of recycled props from the Hammer films. And I think you all know the Hammer films. I don't want to get too far into that because we could do a whole show about Peter Cushing and friends. But you know what was real interesting that I did not know about is that this Frank N. Furter role was coveted by Mick Jagger. He really wanted that role, and I can't tell you why he didn't get it. I wasn't there that day. but I think Mick Jagger would also have been very good at it. It is the longest running theatrical release in history. And I guess that's because it just continuously plays as what's called a nightmare movie, midnight movie, where audiences dress up and talk back to the screen. They've done that, they do that with several things now, but that's the first one, and it seems to be continuous everywhere. It started, that talkback midnight movie started at the Waverly Theater in New York City. I didn't get the year. But over at our house, back when it was uncluttered enough for people to actually move around in, we used to have like monthly movie parties, and I had one of these projectors too. You know, the kind that it's on the ceiling. I really like that. I still like projectors because you remember the days when you went to the movies for 25 cents or less, and your shoes stick to the floor, and you saw the smoke going through the movie as it was being projected. Anyway, we all kind of dressed up as different people. I remember one year I dressed up like Dale Hannah in Daryl Hannah. I can't even talk, in Blade Runner. And we won't talk anymore about that. But Hugh O'Brien was also born on this day in 1925. He earned his wings in 2016 at the age of 91. Do you know that a few years ago, the largest growing group of people in this country were the 85-year-olds? Today, the largest group of people are the 100-year-olds. So let's all make it there. But Hugh was in 220 episodes of Wyatt Earp, 53 movies, mostly Westerns. But I particularly like one non-Western he was in called Spaceship XM. So he also wrote an autobiography called Hugh O'Brien or What's Left of Him. So this is Jay Kaplan, or What's Left of Him, signing on. No, I'm still here for yesterday was the 18th, but I can't let that go by without telling you that was David Tennant's birthday. David Tennant, one of the most popular Doctor Who's of all time. Still, I think he's great. So are a lot of others. But he played the 10th Doctor between the years of 2000. It seemed like he was just on as Doctor Who. And for any of you that don't know, Doctor Who was, a very short-lived TV series that's still on and started in 1964. So look it up if you don't already know of it. But speaking of television, I woke up this morning to Tom Selleck telling me that most Americans do not have enough money. Well, other than one or two people that I've never gotten to know, I don't think anybody has all the money they want. We all seem to want a little more. So this kind of advertising, it works well for the low-hanging fruit out there, but it does not promote good information about reverse mortgages. It promotes nothing but misinformation. Now, speaking of Tom Selleck, I took a reverse mortgage loan application at a home a couple of months ago. It was worth about $2.5 million, and the owner knew Tom Selleck. He knows him or used to, and said that Tom was a very nice guy and even kind of shy. He used to visit him in Hawaii and that kind of thing, but said he was really, really nice, good. Anyway, this particular client owes only about $250,000 on his $2.5 million home, and he has a daughter that just graduated. So what does he not have? He does not have long-term health care. He wanted to protect his daughter's future, and the home was a part of that. He didn't know whether his daughter wanted to live in that house. She lived elsewhere now, whatever. But in any case, the home was a part of what he wanted his legacy to be. So if he got sick and needed long-term care in the home or a nursing home, He was really afraid he'd have to sell his home to be able to pay for that. He'd be forced to sell the home. Well, that's how an estate crumbles. So remember, the real threat to your legacy is not a mortgage. It's health care. So as long as we are still talking about daughters, last week I visited a home with a value of about $3 million, and he has two daughters. He's got a decent mortgage, close to $1 million, that he's ready to pay off or pay down at any time or any second. And then, of course, he won't have much cash left over. But, that home, by the way, did have an elevator about 30 years old. Take a good look at your screen if you're watching this. I could stand up, but that would take up the whole screen. What I'm trying to say is that elevator actually worked and went up with me in it. Coming down was probably a little faster than it was designed for. But anyway, his two daughters, he doesn't want them to argue over the one home. So his payment right now is well above $5,000 a month. He can take that money and whatever he gets and divide it to the two daughters so they can get a start on owning their own home. They're both of age that they could or should own homes, but they don't. So, you got to ask, is a reverse mortgage a good thing for anyone? Well, it depends on what you use it for. You could listen to me who says it's good for everyone, but that may or may not be the right thing to say, but it's just me. For those persons I just spoke about, those two, it's a great idea. For somebody going to gamble in Las Vegas, perhaps not so great. But the reverse is the most regulated and safe loan product in existence, having the best of all possible terms of any mortgage. So let's look at our choices. Okay, over there, we have Mortgage A. Make payments when you want to, don't when you don't want to, or maybe you have a better use for the money that year or that month. Maybe you feel like you need a tax write-off that month, that year. Make the interest-only payment. That's Plan A. Plan B over there, you have a loan that you are scheduled, that's a nice word, obligated to pay each and every month. Okay, and if you are late, you pay a late payment, and you also get a nasty letter. If you are a few months late, you can face foreclosure and lose the home. And since the rates are about the same in either Plan A or B, how many of you out there actually want Plan B? Not too many if they are using logic. But, think of this loan as a transmission. Do you still remember manual transmissions? And Sean, if you're listening to you, since you're younger by about 100 years, they still make manual transmissions out there?
Oh, of course.
Yeah? Okay. Because I don't see them advertised much anymore, but they used to be the coolest thing to have. Now, of course, the the automatics can be just as fast or faster because it doesn't rely on humans to make the shift. But as you can tell, my ability to stay focused is about as weak as ever. So I'll get back to what I was talking about. So you can put it in reverse and make no payments at all. You can put it in neutral, and your payment then, you can make, what are you going to make? Interest-only payments. Or you can put it in forward. There is never a prepayment penalty, so you can accelerate as fast as you like, with or without manual transmission. And you can always keep changing gears each month this way. And no, there's no fee for changing any way you want to do anything. So now, if you don't make a payment, does your balance increase? Yes, it does. That makes sense, right? But so does your home's value. And as an aside, so does your bank account. But anyway, and so do your other things. And even if, anyway, let me get back to this because you could invest that too, but I don't want to get into that. The value of your home is going to be a lot larger. So your chances than the amount of the loan. So your chances of not continuing to increase inequity is very small. You don't make any payments, you're almost assured of continuing to make equity. And I can show all that to you in numbers where, any good thing if we'll get together. And when we see and hear about some horror stories of people losing equity, this program is coast to coast, and there are some states, and some people could overuse it, and some states do not have that kind of equity, so they could be, you could be going very backwards in some states. If that actually happened and you used, quote, too much money and your property did not appreciate, what happened? You still got to use the money, you still got the privilege of it, and you still got your health care probably much better managed. So I can't find any downside. So a HECM, home equity conversion or reverse, is similar to a VA loan in that the VA loan was created and insured by the government for a specific group of people. The HECM or reverse mortgage was also designed for a specific group of people so that us oldies can take advantage of what they have accumulated and, yes, against all you've heard, even increase what they have now in a period of lesser income. So is a VA loan good? Most people say yes. I say yes. It gives those people who served our country and their family an easier way to buy a home. So I agree. But I can also walk over there and argue that it's never a good idea to buy a home with no down payment and higher payments. Again, it's what you're going to use the product or the loan for. And exactly the same applies for reverse or HECM loans. So, I just to let you know, I had a realtor at a talk I gave at a real estate office a couple of months ago. He volunteered the information that his mother got a reverse, put solar panels on the house, and went on a long voyage with his sister. This guy was a realtor. After this, his mother got lung cancer for 2.5 years, and she paid $12,000 a month for around-the-clock care. And after she passed away, unfortunately, he and his sister expected not to get anything from the home, but were happy about having taken care of their mother and, allowing her to stay in her home that much time. So after checking the home values, they actually did end up with about $150,000. And here's the best line of it. He told me, and it's obviously I'm telling everybody over and over, he said that the reverse mortgage is the only thing he can think of that makes him want to be older. So let's face it, there are only 2 times in life we can live at home with no payment. Once when you were a kid, and financially you probably didn't do too much with that opportunity, and now. So let me repeat. If there is any way to continue making monthly payments that reduce your outstanding balance while still having access to those very same funds while it grows in a reverse account for you, wouldn't it be worth learning about? It would, and you can find out a lot more by visiting my site, theeducatedretirementradio.com, calling us here on air, 951-922-3532. One more time, 951-922-3532. So let's find out the real thing. And let me repeat that I think this is the best line of this segment, the real threat to your legacy is not a mortgage. It is health care. And we are all living longer now than we have before. So I'm going to say goodbye for a couple of minutes. Let Sean take over. John Clemmer sound to it, which, it's not my favorite, but I like it. And I think it's great to have connected with this show. Anyway, welcome back to The Educated Retirement here on KMET 1490 AM. 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532, and grab me at theeducatedretirementradio.com or email me at bestloantoday@gmail. So, what happened on this day in history? Well, in 1948, when I was 2 years old, I want you to stop, close your eyes, and imagine me at 2 years old. Anyway, the ABC television network, of which we're kind of a part of, debuted in Philadelphia. And, I remember this kind of now. Either that or I remember remembering it. You think you know what I'm talking about. There was a show called On the Corner with Henry Morgan. And this is precious. At the end of the show, Morgan, every time, and I guess what he did was he would interview the man on the street or the woman on the street, literally, by being out on the street with his microphone and a cameraman. And they did this 1 hour. I don't even know it was an hour. I guess it's me that's doing the hour show. But at the end of the show, he would say the same thing. Morgan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week. I love that. I'm going to steal it from him. I'm sorry, Morgan. Henry, we're good friends now, so I'll call you Henry. Let's see how long it lasts. I'll try. I promise I'll try. Casino Royale premiered in 1967 with David Niven, Peter Sellers, Orson Welles, and Woody Allen. Just the same kind of a lineup they'd have on any James Bond, especially James Bond spoof these days. What I did find out was that Peter Sellers and Orson Welles hated each other so much that scenes together, when they were shown talking together, were filmed separately and then put together later. So anyway, let's hope we don't know a lot of people like that for each of us. But, there are a lot of things that don't set me off. I don't get that upset over it too much. But one thing that really gets me riled up are people spreading what's not true about reverse mortgages. And those are people who are not schooled in the subject and actually go about hurting others by spreading their ignorance. Now, I read stories like this almost every week on the internet, on Google, on whatever. It's just crazy. We don't have enough people writing back. But I read this once. I couldn't help it. I have to talk about it. I really don't want to get into too much negative stuff, but this just blew me away. So we're going to talk about it for a little while. This was republished by an entity, it was on Google, republished by an entity that really should know better, and that's Realty.com. Shame on Realty.com. Anyway, it was called Reversal of Fortune, and I really do like that name. And anyway, Reversal of Fortune, the mortgage mistake that could cost one woman her longtime home. This was written by Mary Shanklin. And she did this after learning nothing at all that she's talking about. So I'm going to have Mary join us here in a minute so she can at least, defend herself. So apparently, this woman who owns this house has had decades of experience in real estate. I don't think so. And she expects to lose her home at an auction this month. And the reason, the culprit, is a reverse mortgage. So her husband had taken out a home, I'm reading from the article, taken out a home equity conversion mortgage, as the federally backed loans are called, on the couple's 4-bedroom Orlando area home, tucked away. You notice how she's got to give this description. Tucked away on a quiet street. So it's not near Mickey Mouse or Universal Studios. So that's supposed to make a big difference here. And here's an outrage that she says. Like more than 1 million other older U.S. homeowners, me included, where's my finger? Me included, have traded the ownership of the 2,000 square foot property and any equity for cash to pay out outstanding debts. That's ridiculous. Okay, this is not an equity share program, okay? What you pay is what you've used. You, nobody else. Ownership does not change hands. This person is crazy. Oh, no. I must show respect. This person doesn't know what they're talking about. And since she doesn't, I'm going to ask her to join us so I can ask her why. Hold on a minute now. Let's see. There she is. Okay. Now, let me ask her. And what was, oh, Mary. Yes, Mary. Can you please tell us what made you say such totally untrue items about a reverse mortgage? Please, you've got all the time you want. Okay, listen. I'm listening. I don't hear much. Okay, she says, and you can agree with this, right? She says they believe they would be able to remain in their home until their deaths. This is a total malicious, I won't call it lie, a malicious untruth, okay? So tell me, why did you write that? Huh? You know that a Heckham doesn't take ownership or future equity from you unless you're spending the equity. So you took the equity, if that it was true. And it's not always true. So I'm going to give you another minute here to talk to the audience, okay? So tell them your opinion, and I can even get out of the way. No, so you're wrong. Is that it? You understand that? Okay. In that case, I'll let you go, and you can go. You can go sulk in the corner, but hopefully. Someday you'll apologize in public and come back and tell us the truth. Bye-bye. All right. Can you have a foreclosure with a reverse mortgage? Yes, you can. Okay? If you don't pay your taxes. Now, what if you don't have any loan at all on your property? You're going to be in trouble. If you don't pay your taxes, you could lose your home. And if you don't pay your insurance, okay? If you don't pay your insurance, you're going to be in trouble also. So there's nothing new here. And it's just so ridiculous when I hear people say the kind of things. Well, you saw her. She was, she had nothing to say. But anyway, what is said here in this article is that her husband passed away 6 years ago. The bank came a-calling, and the foreclosure notices began. Now, just like in that movie, Come Hell or High Water? No, it ain't going to happen that way, but it was a good movie. The problem was that the couple agreed to take Sharon, that's the woman, I'm sorry, I wasn't going to say her name, but I won't say her last name, off the title of the house when lender said it was the only way the loan could be approved. Okay, here's the story on that. Back then, I'm taking it that this was several years ago. That was the case, but that didn't mean you were going to lose your home, all right? So what happened well before this situation happened is that the FHA was sued. They changed the rules altogether so that in this case, it would have been a non-borrowing spouse because I'm taking it for granted, although it doesn't say that here. It doesn't say anything about this, and it should. The wife was probably underage. Now, legally, you can have a reverse mortgage if you're 62, if your wife is 18. You're probably not going to last too long, but, so be it. The thing is that this was true. You were supposed to come off title. Those laws were changed, and subsequently, if you were off title, you had 90 days to put yourself on title. So why didn't you do that? And since then, for about the last year and a half, you go on title just like nothing ever happened. So no, none of this is true. And I have personally been involved in many cases exactly like this, never had a problem, and everything is fine. But, she goes on to say that this illustrates one of the pitfalls of the reverse mortgage, which is the pitfall is an uninformed person that doesn't know what they're talking about, which has long been a controversial product that some finance experts warned could leave the elderly in worse financial shape. Well, you got to really show me how it's going to do that. And, I guess we did decide on one. Take the money and go to Las Vegas and gamble. It's not a pitfall of anything except a demented, selfish mind that writes articles about what she knows nothing about. Many financial experts, the ones that know anything about the subject, even Nobel Prize winners in economics, recognize the great value of this product. And this may be one of the craziest items in the article, but the loans must be paid off before the owners named on the deed sell their residence, move, or die. Okay. That means that if I know I'm going to die from a heart attack the day after tomorrow, that I have to pay the loan off tomorrow before I die. No, I don't think so. Now, if she knows who's going to die when, then maybe this Mary Shanklin can become very famous. We'll have her back on the show. But here's one more example of that. And this is like the last line here in this article. Whatever you do, get an attorney to read over everything before you agree to the terms. Well, I think you should do that no matter what kind of contract you're signing. And the only time you sign a contract's at the very end. But okay, that's good advice. And then says that a reverse mortgage may sound like a good situation, but make sure your name is on the deed. Well, how are you going to get a loan without your name on the deed? I'd bring her back to answer that, but I don't think she's got an answer for it. So we got a few more minutes to talk about Easter. And although I am shaped like an egg, I am not going to go Easter egg hunting because I'm too fat to bend over and pick them up. But here's some things that you can do. Okay? Noble, I'm talking Nobel Prizes again. Noble Creek Regional Park in field number 1 at 390 Oak Valley Parkway in Beaumont, California, for ages 0 through 12, so that would include me. They are talking mental age, right? They're going to have an Easter egg hunt, and it's going to be surrounded by a spring fling bazaar. So I told you where it is. It's at Noble Creek Regional Park, and here's what they have to say about themselves. Join Beaumont Cherry Valley Recreation and Park District for Spring Fling, homemade arts and crafts vendors, authentic food, egg hunt, complimentary pictures with the bunny, games, prizes, and attractions. Now, I did mention this last time or the time before because this is still ongoing through May 19th, and that is the original Renaissance Pleasure Fair. I think the second date I went on with my wife was to that. That was at Gura Hills, and we went to a costume place in Hollywood, rented costumes. We had a great time. It's on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Santa Fe Dam Recreation Area, and that's at 15501 East Arrow Highway, Irwindale. And that's, if you want to look up more information, renfair.com, RENFAIR.com, and that's on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I will sign off with telling you about the Los Angeles Blessing of the Animals, El Pueblo, downtown LA, right across from the train station, based on